There are not many signs that Joe Biden will run for president. But man, if he does, that would be a fun campaign to watch and to cover. Today, Veepalicious Diamond Joe made a trip to Drake University in Des Moines, Iowa. Love the Drake, Drake's cakes, all that stuff.
No, not Drake's.
So we decided we'd take an extended look at what Biden put on display today and what a 2016 campaign from him might look like. And there's some stuff in here that other potential candidates might want to learn from. The first thing we want to hear here is Biden talking a little bit about why Democrats should all give a full-throated defense of the Obama administration's economic record.
In my view, those seeking to lead the nation should protect and defend and run, yes, run on what we've done, own what we have done, stand for what we have done, acknowledge what we have done, and be judged on what we've been done. If we have any chance for continued resurgence in 2016. Some say that would amount to a third term of the president. I call it sticking with what works.
Okay, so there's Joe Biden. You know Joe Biden pretty well. I know Joe Biden pretty well. You know he's very proud of the record of accomplishment of this administration. What do you think of that as political advice? Not, just Joe's pride, but as political advice for candidates in 2016, including Hillary Clinton.
I think if the Affordable Care Act is intact, and if the economy keeps getting better, Joe Biden is on to something, and his friend Hillary Clinton, I guarantee you she will be caught in a daily psychodrama of conference calls and memos and discussions with her husband of, should I distance, kinder, gentler, what do I say, go left, go right, compared to Obama. Right. Biden's got a simpler philosophy, and again, if things are going well, a better one. Right. Embrace what was done and win the argument.
Well, I think that was true. That was true. I think he would have said the same thing. He said the same thing about Democrats in 2010. He said the same thing about Democrats in 2014. They would have done well to follow his advice because you got to live with the record you got, right? So why not just embrace it and fight for it rather than trying to pick and choose? For me, she's going to have to make careful distinctions about Hillary Clinton, that is, where she was with the administration on foreign policy and where she was against it. That's going to be essential. But on this economic stuff, if those conditions hold that you described, I think you're right. Got to wrap your arms around the Obama record and say, I'm 100% there.
Another thing Biden said was, it wasn't that long ago that even members of my party were saying our economic path hadn't worked.
Right.
They were looking to distance themselves from what we've done and the policies we've put in place. I think that would be a terrible mistake. I believe that Hillary Clinton is going to, as I said, psychodrama herself over this.
Yeah.
Biden isn't afraid of the record.
He has no psychodrama.
No psychodrama.
There's no psychodrama in Joe Biden.
All right, so here's another issue where we're going to see Hillary Clinton's psychodrama, which is on this question of economic inequality. Elizabeth Warren is obviously the pace setter here. She does it in a hot way when she talks about income inequality. This is Joe Biden in a Biden way talking about income inequality.
I hope you all end up being millionaires or billionaires. But the last thing somebody making over $1 million a year now needs is another tax cut. They're okay. They're doing just fine. No, I'm serious.
So the whisper thing,
I like it when Joe uses his inside voice.
As we both know, he considers himself as good a speaker as Bill Clinton. And,
if not better.
And there's no doubt, looking at that clip, that he went into this event today knowing full well that the Des Moines Register was there and that this was going to be an Iowa thing. But I don't think he's any better than Hillary Clinton on this. I think he's better in that first thing in terms of definitiveness. I don't think he's any better than her on how to talk about income inequality that doesn't open himself up to these charges of class warfare that Republicans have used effectively.
Right. Look, I mean, she's got to find, she talked in 2008 when she was at her best as a candidate, not in the majority of the campaign when she was at her worst, but at the end, when she was at her best, in white working-class neighborhoods and working-class neighborhoods in general, across the Midwest, in Ohio and Pennsylvania, in North Carolina, in Indiana, South Dakota, talking in a way about the struggles of the working-class voters that was not cloaked in this particular language of income inequality, but was really about that in some ways. And I think she can find her way to that lingo again if she embraces that posture, and is a fighter, is the underdog, even though she's not going to be the underdog.
Now, I want to get to this last thing, because this has to do with the question of working in Washington, getting things done.
Yeah.
Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton, 2008, Obama said, I can work with the other party like I did in Springfield. Hillary Clinton said, I'm going to hit the other party in the head with a 2x4. Yeah. Ironically, Hillary Clinton had a record of working with Republicans in Congress. And ironically, one of her biggest private criticisms from the Clinton orbit is Obama hasn't worked with Republicans. And just the record shows that. Biden who's made some of the deals, talked today in Des Moines about this issue. Can Democrats work across the aisle now and in the future?
I've never once questioned other man or woman's motive in politics. I think it's one of the reasons why I get on well and why I'm able to get some things done. But look what's happened today. When you disagree today in modern politics, it's because you're immoral, or you're bad, or you have no character, or whatever. If I say you lack character, that you are racist in your opposition, it's awful hard for us to have any relationship. That's what's happened today in politics. Think how personal it's become, how bitter it's become. It's not because the nation is divided on the issues. It's because of the tactics, the way in which we campaign.
So this is, I think, the clearest indication that Joe Biden is not going to run for president. That is a message that has a lot of resonance potentially to a general election audience and has a lot of resonance in a lot of places. But it's not the kind of message that a Democratic nominating electorate would want to hear. Nobody wants to hear about bipartisanship among liberal Democrats in a lot of places. And it's not. If you were going to try to take on Hillary Clinton, if you were going to try to get into that race, you would not be preaching the gospel of calm in today's Democratic Party.
Well, it's an interesting question, right? Because what does a lot of the country want? They want a president who can work across the aisle and break the gridlock.
They do.
And I think there are people who will vote in the Republican process and the Democratic process who want that. It's a tough argument to make for the reasons you said. I think Joe Biden is proud of the fact that he knows how the Senate works. I think Joe Biden sits back and looks at the president, the current president, and says, wow, this guy can't get Washington to work. Hillary Clinton, her greatest strength in some ways, as polarizing as she is she can make this argument. And the question I have is, will she? Will she make it like that as a candidate?
Well, I think she might make it in a general election contest. Like I said, it's just not. The Democratic base is so scarred by what's happened in their view over the last 6 years. It's a hard thing to get Democrats excited.
If she's got courage, she'll make it.